What's up, fam? It's your boy Nick, and we are here again for another episode of 321 Presents. I've got my boy Zach.
What to do?
And we are going to do a little something different today. As we have discussed, 321 Presents is a ever fluid, ever changing sort of podcast here. We're going to start the day in the familiar territory, though, with our classic sports reporting. Zach, I would love to talk to you today about what our Denver Nuggets have been doing since we last reported on Nikola Jokic going down with injury.
So our Denver Nuggets, of course, have what is the right word I'm looking for? Like being handicapped, decimated, doesn't even feel quite right for what has gone wrong with the Denver Nuggets thus far. However, though, like the night in Monty Python, it was only a flesh wound for our beloved Denver Nuggets. We're losing some arms and legs, but what we have left seems to be capable enough, and we are finding ways to compete in basketball games and win some basketball games, which is very shocking from what we've known about the Denver Nuggets in the past years.
Yeah, it came out of the tail end of that 7-game road trip, 3-2 without Nikola Jokic,
which is very impressive.
Absolutely huge.
The big game, like I said, January is kind of a little bit of a fluff month on the schedule. Like we're playing is super good, except for Cleveland, who has been, at least last year, they were a very good basketball team. They still have all the same pieces for the most part, missing some players off the bench. Their sixth man of the year is not there, so things looking a little bit different, but still a very good basketball team out there in the East. And we competed with them for the full game up until probably the last minute and a half is kind of when it went.
Yeah, even the two losses have been very close affairs. No real blowouts to speak of.
Yep, we did get Christian Brown back finally. He's been gone since what feels like the beginning of the season. Really was almost the second or third week of the season.
He's still only on his 11th or 12th game of the year.
Yeah, he's not playing very well either, which is not super great given that we just gave him a very large contract. And P-Wad, who is playing out of his mind, is on a contract year, and we may not be able to afford him, and that's a little sad.
Unfortunate, but does further incentivize us to take advantage of this year where we still have both of them.
Yep, Jamal Murray's. If he does not get some sort of recognition for the way he is playing this year,
it really feels like he's due.
Granted, he is, depending on what kind of basketball you like, he is not going to be for everyone's flavor. If you're looking for a nice fluid form of basketball, he's not quite that. He is very much, I'm going to go find a way to get a bucket type of dude. And that if that's your jelly, your jam, he is the perfect guy for you. And boy, oh boy, do we need that right now. Last night, the game we just played against Boston, who we beat, finished with 17 assists, which is hit career high as well, with what feels like the scraps around, but they're not really scraps. They're all very well-deserving players.
Yeah, really everyone kind of proving why they're on the roster this year. And I've seen a lot of props given out to David Adelman for, obviously the bench is just better constructed this year, but in the Michael Malone years, we did see a pretty heavy over-reliance on that starting five where it feels like I think that's why a lot of people expected us to have such a hard time in this stretch, was because under the Malone system, it would have been absolute dog water.
Yeah, for the most part, having Adelman and our GM on the same page has been, our GMs, I should say, on the same page has been huge for the Denver Nuggets, finding players to plug in the right spot, like Spencer Jones, who is out there posting his stories on the LinkedIn. He's been proven to be a great two-way player. He's started quite a few games for us. He's going to be out tonight against the Hawks, actually, but to have someone fill into that dunker spot where AG usually fills in, he's a good fit for that. At least his skill set is.
Yeah, absolutely. So that it was, the end of the road trip out there for the Nuggies. They get to come back home for a little bit now.
Just for a little bit, yeah.
Because I do know the Avs are going to be here at Ball Arena for their longest home streak of the homestand of the year, which is going to be a 7-game stand.
Someone's got to keep the lights on.
So, yeah, I imagine that you guys might either be a day off of us or you're gonna be back on the road here soon.
We are going to go back on the road. We have 2 here at home, Hawks tonight and Bucks on Sunday, and then we're back on the road against the Pelicans and Dallas, and then we come back for a couple and then back out.
Hey, what's all this I hear about MPJ's playing so good in Brooklyn that he's gonna get moved again? Maybe.
Potentially, as we know, Brooklyn Nets, Washington Wizards, kind of places you go to die as players or to prove your value. MPJ has no real help out there, and overall, he's been very efficient from at least the shooting offensive standpoint.
Yeah.
Defensively, we don't want to look at those numbers too much because
no one really expects that out of him.
No one expects that out of him, but all of Brooklyn as a whole is kind of a big negative on the defensive end, unfortunately. So he is of value. Everyone knows he's been able to shoot the ball. Unfortunately, he did beat us on our trip out there to go see him in the one game.
That was one of the losses.
Yeah, it's a little sad, but he played well. He's trying to show everyone that like, hey, I'm the guy.
It's good to see that he is obviously a lot more this has been a chance for him to be like the number one option on the team, and he's fitting into it pretty well. But I do think that move really has worked out in showing like how much of those other depth guys get to blossom now in the similar increased minutes situation.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win from everybody's perspective. I mean, Cam Johnson's not playing the way everyone thought he was going to play, but also we have to realize that we're not asking Cam to be the number 1 guy like he was in Brooklyn or the number 2 guy for us. He's really like a 3 or 4 guy, even 5, depending on what the night is looking like with the way Watt is going. P. Watt and CB can go. So I think he's doing just fine. I mean, he's playing his role. Unfortunately, he's had the injury bug this year, which hasn't been ideal for him, and I know that's frustrating because that's been sort of the tail of his career, and it's kind of a bad stain that he's a little injury prone. No one likes to be that, but I mean,
you can't really control that. Your body tells you what it's going to do.
The key thing is that if he's available for playoff time and ready to go and to play his role and to be an asset there, that's really all we need. I mean, if the Nuggets don't make the playoffs, it's a bigger issue there. I mean, we have to implode quite a bit, but playing your role there is what we really went and got him for, where MPJ did not shine nearly as well as Cam has in the past.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing that you just reminded me of, with Jokic missing the 4 weeks here, a thing that we can discuss now, he will miss the 65-game end of season award minimum, and everyone, at least we've determined that we have different basketball news sources, but I'm seeing a lot of rumblings about this is the sort of thing that's going to get like conversations in the league to have that number changed maybe or something.
Potentially, like I understand, like it's like a rock and a hard place. Like you don't want to incentivize or bring that number down because you're incentivizing. You're trying to disincentivize what they call load management, where you're sitting your star players where you
want to make sure
play.
That they are getting in at least 3/4 of the season.
Yeah, unlike the NHL goalies where we understand maybe you need a game off because we're shooting pucks at you and maybe players are getting into fights or whatnot. You just take a rest. That seems absurd. That's like nothing no one in any other sport does except for maybe baseball, where you have your allotted sit days because you're playing 365 days a year, it feels like. But
pretty close.
Yeah. In basketball world, the games are not like, there's some physicality, but they're not more physical than in NHL, where we have basically the equal amount of games, and it's not good for business wise from any perspective unless your business is, I'm going to go win championships, because there's some incentive there. But from an NBA business, you want your star players to be available as often as possible. Yeah,
you want the highlight premier portion of your product to be available for the consumer.
And when you don't have any of those star players, or they're not available, you have games like in Memphis, I forget who they're playing, where you have tickets selling for $4 a pop.
Yeah.
Around the stadium, which is not ideal for anybody.
You're taking a loss on tickets and hoping you're making it up in concessions at that point.
Yeah, not ideal.
Yeah. It's very interesting to me that this year with Jokic's injury is like kind of the first, because the 65 minimum has been around for a little bit.
It's been around. This would be its second or third year. There's a couple things that are interesting to me. One is like everyone's kind of had an issue with the 65. It's funny to me now that everyone's like, I don't know if I like this as much, and it's because of Jokic, who we've had voter fatigue over
Yeah.
anyway, which I thought is a wild scenario. Like, you're gonna change the rule for this guy who you don't really even like all that much.
You
but
weren't excited to vote for him, but now that you can't, you miss it.
now that you can't, and he's playing even at a higher level than he was the years before,
Yeah.
like I want to vote this guy. I was like, what are we doing here now, kids?
Yeah, a very silly situation there. The other thing I note, have not checked out too many of the results yet, though. But we are back in Unrivaled season.
We are back in Unrivaled season. They are playing their second or third week in. Oddly enough, we don't have Angel Reese this time, so the rows are looking a little bit different.
The bigger names are kind of shaken up a little. No Nafisa.
No Nafisa, because she is getting surgery.
Yep.
This is her league, so she would have played. But there are some bigger names that we've brought in. Kelsey Plum's there with the Phantom because Godwin knows that
The
team
Phantom needed
help.
Yep.
They're still struggling a little bit. Seems to be the Phantom way right now. But I expect they'll turn around. Plum will scoop them up like she did with the Sparks. We got Paige Becker's coming in on the brand new team. That team is kind of stacked, actually.
Yeah.
It's like her.
Was that the Breeze? No,
It is the Breeze.
Okay.
Yeah, it's her Breeze team. It's her, Brink, Rakia Jackson, a lot of the young talent over there, a lot of the young skilled talents over there. It's like, this team is gonna do something.
Yeah. Very exciting. And as that season unfolds, we are coming up on, I believe, the final agreed deadline for the WNBA and their Players Association to reach an agreement that both parties seem to be ready to watch that deadline pass.
Yeah, unfortunately, like we've talked about, the WNBA players have so many different avenues. Like, if we don't have a WNBA season, do you just have the Unrivaled season go longer? Do you have the Athletes Unlimited go long? There's a brand new league, I want to say out in Russia or something like that, that's also happening. I forget what it's called, though.
Yeah, there is a plethora of off-season micro leagues, if you will, available, and the Players Association have already authorized a strike if necessary.
Yeah, the other one's called Project B, which is an international 5-on-5 league led by a bunch of other huge WNBA
that has
names.
A lot of funding and investment going there as well.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say that is unfortunate for the WNBA is there are so many talented women around the world that play the sport. You can't put them all on the limited amount of teams that you have quite yet. We're adding some more as we go along. We're getting a couple here soon, and then another couple after that. But with all these leagues, they're able to play and showcase your talent that gets to be seen around the world. Like, there's a bunch of different new players that's going to be playing in Plan B that didn't have teams. You got women in the Unrivaled League that may or may not be on a WNBA team. For sure, Athlete Unlimited, there's a lot of mix of pro, semi-pro women out there running around. So more and more opportunity for different women to showcase. And depending on where you are, it really feels like the Athlete Unlimited is very West Coast based and has sort of their fan base out there. You have the Unrivaled, which is a little bit bigger nationally because they do have the national broadcast with them, but they're Florida based on the East Coast, and then Project B going international. Kind of have all your bases covered.
Yeah, it's like they say, it's the best time for women's sports right now. 2026 might be the best year ever for women's sports.
One would certainly hope so.
Which, speaking of which, we can transfer from women's basketball to talk about women's hockey, where the PWHL have taken their first international break and already come back now. The Boston Fleet continue to be the powerhouse of the league this year. And then otherwise, it's kind of a lot of back and forth. The jockeying for position is still very much underway. I believe, unfortunately, your poor New York Siren are still bringing up the rear, but let me double check on how they're...
We're still early.
Yeah. We're about a month away from those Olympic Games, and did you see the video from this week?
I did not see the video. All the Olympic videos I've seen from the Winter Olympics have saddened me. I saw a picture today where they don't even have any of the locker rooms done yet for any of the sports, which is super cool.
That's very interesting, because the report is that like the bare necessities in the hockey rink are done, but the infrastructure around that is still question mark.
They got a little less than a month now.
Yeah, there are about 2.5 weeks left that they are probably not going to get a whole lot of sleep during.
The procrastinating. They're going to get into their fever sweats and work through all the nights, powered by Red Bull and whatever energy sponsor wants to sponsor us.
I stand corrected here. Your New York Sirens are sitting pretty in second place.
Yeah, we like that. With the 2 wins or whatever.
6 wins and 5 losses.
That feels like a lot of games this early on.
They are 11 games in, so we're about a third of the way through the year already. But that is no overtime games whatsoever.
We don't believe in overtime.
Get it done in 3.
You know who goes to overtime? Floppy teams.
That
is a quote from.
I was gonna say who would say such a thing. And now actually the bottom of our league currently is the Ottawa Charge, who do only have 2 regulation wins on the year. They have pulled 3 out in overtime for the bonus points there, but yeah, not a whole lot of overtime happening in the league this year.
No, what I am excited for the PWHL is it looks like they're doing a 2-time tour, because we have a game coming up here soon at the end of the month, and then we get my Sirens coming in around March time, I do believe, which is super huge for them.
We the Denver stops in the takeover tour are sandwiching the Olympic break, so we're going to be the last takeover stop before the break, and then the first one when they come back.
Because just leave your stuff there. We'll pick up where we left off.
I think Minnesota is playing both games.
I don't know if they are.
Minnesota's definitely playing the first one, I think, and then New York is in the second. I think it's new.
We have the 2 new teams on the first game. I know that for sure.
Is it Seattle, Vancouver? I thought it might have been Seattle, Minnesota.
No, it's
Vancouver,
Seattle, Vancouver's
okay.
the first one, because I was like that. I don't want to see these teams.
Seattle is our closest.
I was waiting for sure, but I don't like their logo. I'm a Sirens guy all the way through. My New York, stand up. Where you at?
Well, that may be the case for now, but the rumor mill this year is that the league is interested in 4 more teams in the near future.
Have they tried somewhere where there is no hockey being played like we did for the professional women's baseball?
No, they are, in fact. Pretty much all of the double stops on the takeover tour this year are kind of like our lead candidates for our team. So that's Denver, Detroit,
everywhere where the hockey is.
Winnipeg, I think, up north.
Hockey's super important. Like, I can't imagine Detroit being without a team for very long, because you need a nice pairing with the Red Wings. Yeah. You have so many different options out here. You can go play where the Eagles are. You can play where the Avs play. You have the U Stadium.
Yeah.
Got a plethora of options over here. Same with the Hockey Town Detroit, alleged Hockey Town of Detroit.
A lot of places claim to be Hockey Town.
Yeah, Winnipeg is in Canada. They need more hockey. They need.
You have a captive audience up there.
Yeah, they're just gonna shotgun teams until someone brings home a trophy.
Yeah, absolutely. So fingers crossed. We maybe by next season potentially are no longer a takeover tour stop, but in fact just a full regular season participant.
I would imagine that you kind of have to shoot some more teams out here west to make that.
I would think
work.
like maybe a California team in that bunch of 3 that we just mentioned would probably be a good spread.
Seattle just got one right.
Seattle, Vancouver are the 2 new ones.
Which is a god awful.
That's your Northwest covered.
God awful flight.
They stretched very far east and very far west, and now you can fill in the middle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. In other hockey news, the Avs having the worst weekend of the season thus far, dropping 2 games in a row to end the road trip out on the East Coast.
That's double the losses they've had all season.
They literally did. That was how bad it was. They doubled their total losses on the year.
That's insane still.
Shorthanded, the captain went down in the Saturday tilt against the Florida Panthers, the 2-time defending champs. And that really kind of killed the vibes for the rest of the team for the rest of the game. We did find out later, all they have to announce on the injury report is that it's an upper body injury and that he will be reevaluated in 4 weeks, give or take.
Yeah, I thought there was some reports about him potentially maybe not even playing in the Olympics.
He's going to be borderline for Olympics time, basically, and it'll be up to him if he wants to go. But the unconfirmed rumor based on how we saw him go into the net, and the timeline prognosis is probably a broken rib, if not two. But because the quote that Nathan McKinnon gave us after the game happened was "Bones heal faster than muscle, so it should be okay."
Sounds like Nate Dogg.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, Devon Taves then went down in the next game after that. So
bug, it's coming.
That is Mackenzie Blackwood, Landeskog, and Taves all out for a fair bit of time. Blackwood is skating again. He is probably going to be the quickest one back. Hopefully by the time midway through our little homestand here. But yeah, these are the dark times in the season now, where we have 4 regulation losses.
Yeah, to be fair though, you have to have a bad week sometime. Like it's taken.
Oh yeah,
damn near what?
And they weren't even like
a third of the season.
And our bad weeks were taking 2 of the best teams in the league to within one. Like we lost the first one 2-1 against the Panthers, and the other one in Tampa was 4-2 after they put in an empty netter on us.
Yeah, and if that comes with the caveat that you lost some key players on your team as well, like in order to get these losses, not a bad week, especially coming from the Nuggets fan over here.
Yeah, it could be a whole lot worse. And the boys did bounce back last night. That first game in the homestand, Ottawa came to town after a late night game against Utah the previous evening, and they took a shellacking here in the Mile High City, 8-2. A full touchdown with the 2-point conversion. A 4-point game from Nathan McKinnon, Brock Nelson, and Josh Manson.
No hats?
No hats.
Everyone keeps their
spread
hats.
it around. 2 goals each.
Oh.
Don't get greedy.
Fair enough.
I think that was... Oh, the other funny thing, there was a rumor about the Ottawa Senators who came into town. They are currently without their starting goaltender, Linus Ullmark. And a random tweet happened to catch fire on the social media yesterday. In a matter of hours, it went from Linus Ullmark is away from the team for personal reasons to here's a tweet that says, actually, Linus Ullmark got caught cheating on his wife, and he said, it's okay, honey. There's lots of players who have sex with other women while we're out on the road.
Let me list them for you.
And so now the entire Sens locker room is an absolute mess.
In shambles.
And the rumor was that the absence away from the team is that so the general manager can find a way to get him traded before he can come back.
I hear Phoenix needs the team.
So that all popped off, and then in the middle, like before the puck dropped on our game,
the man pointed and said he's cheating on his wife.
No, the GM came out and he put out an official statement through the team like social channels of we are disgusted by the rumors by trolls and sick people on the internet who would cast this, and you should give Linus Ullmark his privacy and respect, but we don't expect that from you, sickos.
And then the quote tweet from Linus, he cheats on his wife too.
Yeah, that would be the next reveal there. Very good. I think that is all of our hockey news this week. Last bit of sports we need to discuss is the field is set for our Super Bowl 60 playoffs. And the Broncos, they did it. They did the damn thing and got that number 1 seed, so we get the weekend off.
Not without struggle, but Jesus.
It was not easy, but they did do it.
We'll take it.
Absolutely. The other matchups, AFC side first, the 4-5 matchup, the Steelers-Texans. Steelers squeaking in on the missed field goal.
Baltimore ended up firing the coach. Harbaugh's a free agent now.
Yep, that was big news. Although he is now the number 1 coaching vacancy candidate for basically every other team.
Kind of. There's been some rumblings that Vance is pretty high in some places, as well as our quarterback coach.
I'm sure
Everyone
on
likes them.
Priority list, some other people.
Stefanski and the Browns is fired. He's pretty high on some lists. I don't know if Mike McDaniel is going to recover from what happened from the Miami. Has a tough one.
Everything I've heard sounds like he's going to have to go back to offensive coordinator for a little bit.
He'll come back here. He'll come back home for a little bit. We're going to lose our quarterback coach, and we'll get Mike McDaniel.
Nice QB coach.
Yeah.
That's rough for him. But yeah, the coaching landscape is going to be a whole big jumble. I think we had like up to eight now after McDaniel's firing, 8 or 9 opening.
Yeah, there's a lot of openings this year. You have plenty of opportunity. If you're a coach out there, put your name in. Put an application out there.
Yeah, for sure. But let's look at the team who did make it through, the Steelers with Old Man Rodgers versus the Texans and their hot defense. And sometimes it works often. Who do we got in that game?
Texans. If the Steelers go, it's going to have to be some like super young fountain of youth. I found the strain of ashwagandha that works. Aaron Rodgers.
TJ Watt could go off.
So their defense is good. The only thing is their offense is confusing to me. Like it's
for sure.
You can rely on DK, right? The running back. They don't really have the running back talent that they usually have to carry them through some of this. And then their tight ends are okay. And then opposite of DK is like fine. There's just no ability to score there against what's already a very good Houston defense. And if I'm gonna pick to gamble, I don't think I'm gonna gamble against CJ Watt or not CJ Stroud versus Aaron Rodgers these days.
I mean, the QB matchup definitely favors the Texans, I would say. There's just something about Steelers with Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers being old wily vets come playoff time. I wouldn't put it past them, but I do agree with you. I do think the Texans take this one.
Yeah. Other rumblings of this is if and when the Steelers get knocked out, Tomlin may call
this
it
might be
quits.
the end of just retire.
Well, not retire, potentially go to the desk or find a new space for him.
Yeah, I mean he's had a hell of a long run over there.
Yep, got his one Super Bowl, but has been mostly successful. Unfortunately, it's
losing seasons.
No, tips a little bit towards that 9-8 sort of record, which is still not a losing season, but not as high as you'd like it to be.
For sure. Our other matchup, the number 3 Jaguars, surprise, against the number 6 Bills, who have been in the AFC Championship game the last couple of years, haven't they?
Yeah, I don't know about this one. This one's a tougher one. Like the Bills have the firepower to do all the scoring. Their defense is a little bit lackluster. Jacksonville just feels very well-rounded across the board. Like their passing threat's not big, but they're running. You have to respect their run as well. Their defense is just good. Like it's not great. It's not a Denver defense, I'd say. It's not a Houston or Steelers defense, but it's good enough to.
They definitely put up an impressive
teams.
Performance against us. I think that team, has a pretty good shot against the Bills team that you have
struggled all year.
Yeah, you have Josh Allen, but it never really looked like they were up to full speed throughout the whole season.
Man got married. He's having a baby. He got other things on his mind.
Other priorities. I do think Jacksonville takes this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to side with Jacksonville because I do want to. I think we will see them again. It feels like it's back in the 90s again where we have to go battle our demons in Jacksonville to get anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that last AFC matchup for the weekend, Patriots-Chargers, I'm feeling this seems pretty one-sided. The Chargers kind of squeaked in here. They're a little beat up at the end of the year.
They did, but they kind of saved everyone for that last game, so they have basically an extra bye week of rest for the most part. They lost some players against us, so that's not ideal when you're resting the dudes.
Yeah.
But I would say when it comes down to it, that New England team this year has been something pretty special, especially from what they did last year. The turnaround's been huge.
Yeah. Another surprising turnaround, like kind of ahead of schedule. There was no middle stages. They just kind of went from being like not very good to, oh yeah, now we're back to playoffs.
That Vrabel effect. I mean, this is the time to sort of put your stories together, right? This is can Bo Nix do it? Can Drake May do it? Who is the best quarterback of that draft class with Caleb being on the other side?
Yeah,
so
sure.
Huge opportunity, huge story building for the league. A good place to be, especially with these young quarterbacks to sort of form their legends as we're going along here, and some of the old dudes like the Aaron Rodgers of the world heading out.
Yeah, I feel like Trevor Lawrence probably would have had some question marks around him had they not made the playoffs this year.
Yeah, he's had a rough go down there. I don't blame him completely for all the things that he's gone through, but it has not looked great for him on the stat sheet.
A very big turnaround for his sort of legacy.
First winning season ever.
Rough. NFC side, the Seahawks have the bye over there,
which is crazy.
Deja vu of 2013 over here.
Fun fact is, unrelated. The Seahawks always take the best record in the NFC when there's a new pope.
That is weird.
It happens every single time.
Huh. Well, next time there's a pope, I know what bet I'm going to place.
Something to keep track of.
Although I don't think we're due for one in a good long while here, hopefully. Our American pope must reign for a while.
Seahawks may have something different to say. Legion of Boom coming back.
Yeah. All right, so our matchups over here. The 4-5 matchup is Panthers-Rams.
Rams, that disgusting NFC South.
Yeah, for sure. No arguments there. The 3 versus the 6 seed in Game 2, Eagles-49ers.
That one's a tough one because neither team is playing super well. They haven't been playing super well all
the Eagles
season.
do not look like they have clicked at all like the Super Bowl team.
I assume the Eagles are the 3, Niners are the 6.
Yeah, which is kind of higher than I expected the Niners to be because they definitely were fighting the injury bug a lot this year too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Eagles just because they have more playoff experience and success here, but it's by a small margin. The game could go either way. Be honest,
it's definitely a close one. I'll go ahead and take the 49ers on this one. Say Shanahan,
what a homer,
gets a little bit of an upset here.
What a homer.
I can't help it. There's too many of familiar names on that squad there.
Fly Eagles fly.
And then Game 3 over in the NFC side, the 2 seed Bears versus the 7 seed Packers.
That one's also a tough one because I think the Bears have drastically overperformed this season, but maybe it is real. I don't know. The Packers did lose a bunch of big dudes against us, though. They're a little bit on the banged up side, so
they had a rough end.
I might take the Bears for this wild card week, but I think that's about as far as their story goes.
Yeah, that checks out. I wouldn't put them ahead of probably anyone else in the field. I think I agree there. We say the Bears are probably going to take that one. Very good. And then that is the first round of the playoffs, and we'll see the lowest remaining seed out of that bunch on the AFC side for our first game next.
Please, for the love of God, don't make it Buffalo.
That'd be rough. Yeah. Although, I mean, this is a year of kind of pretty tough parity where I'm not looking forward to anyone. Really.
I really want someone out of that Packers Houston.
I don't think I want to see the Chargers again so soon.
I wouldn't mind the Chargers, but I really want the Pack. I would prefer the Chargers lose and I get someone from the Houston Steelers matchup. That's what I want. That's what I need.
That would be ideal for the first matchup for sure. Very good. Well, that is the sports coverage this week, and that is where our classic coverage is gonna give way to something a little new, a little different here. For the second time, I am going to hijack one of our episodes to pilot pitch here a new project.
I feel like Keanu Reeves over here, and I'm on a bus. Where's this bus going?
Yeah,
is it filled with a bomb?
No, not so much there. Okay. But so I'm gonna go ahead and this is gonna be a little meta. This is gonna be a how-to, and also we're gonna do the thing. I'm gonna be a little efficient here. This next segment of the show is what I'm going to take as the trailer and then episode 1 of a new podcast I'm going to do this year. I'll tell you how I came about with this idea. So as you'll see in the show notes here, we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of Pokemon this year.
So many people are about to spend so much money.
I am one of those people because we're going to find out later in February just what Nintendo has planned for us this year and the Pokemon Company, and fingers crossed, we're almost certainly going to get a Gen 10 announcement, new generation of mainline games that will almost certainly be out for the holiday season, November, December, and then remakes, ?
Not if you have a Gen, though. That's...
on
The only time
the round anniversary numbers.
the only time that's ever happened is Let's Go, and I forget what came out with that one.
Well, so there's precedent for it.
There is, but it's very rare.
And now, so as you can see, there's a lot of ground to cover in a Pokemon 30-year anniversary topic. More so than I think I want to, I didn't want to steal an entire episode of 321 Presents just to talk about Pokemon. I don't think, maybe not all of our listeners over there want to hear about Pokemon for an hour and some change. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll do something else, and I can do that. And then I started looking. A lot of anniversaries this year. I don't know if you're aware of how many other franchises we have with some classic numbers here.
96, 2006. Did anything happen?
2001. Just basically any of the 1s and 6 years
Yeah.
is where we're coming in. And so what I did is I started doing a little digging into the different categories of who all's celebrating anniversaries this year. And I had a very original idea that I stole from ESPN. When for their 30th anniversary, they put out a little show called 30 for 30. So this year, 321 Productions will be the home of 26 for 26. And I have found a list of 26 pop culture moments, items, franchises, etc. that are celebrating anniversaries this year. And my plan is to have each episode release on that day of the anniversary. And so that'll be kind of a year-long little special event here. And we are getting ahead of the very first item, which is, thankfully, I did all this collating in time.
I am curious how you. I assume there's a lot. I assume out there. I'm curious how you chose your 26.
Well, largely it was personal whittling down, and I am gonna go ahead and say that up front that this is all very much through the lens of my rankings on cultural import and just things I felt like there was enough to talk about and whatnot. So that is the plan of 26 for 26. Let me pull up. I'm not going to go down the full list here. And there are going to be some of these episodes I'm going to ask you to join me on, where I think we've got some fertile ground to discuss. You're definitely going to be on for the Pokemon episode. But we're also going to be talking about the 30th anniversary this year of Space Jam. It's also going to be the anniversary of Jay-Z's debut album, Reasonable Doubt.
I'm curious, as you went through this list, how much older did you feel?
Oh, I mean, I had to cross that bridge, pretty early on, so that's fine. I also have some other people in mind that I might talk to about coming on to talk about the Persona 30-year anniversary.
Oh my gosh, that's so old.
Yeah. Legend of Zelda, the original, turns 40 this year, along with my favorite JRPG franchise, Dragon Quest. Sonic the Hedgehog is turning 35.
That's it? He feels so much older.
No, 35. And then we've got some other big names. I'm going to be looking at the 50-year anniversary of the Gene Wilder classic Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. We're going to be talking about my favorite album of all time, the Stadium Arcadium from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
20 years old?
20 years old. We're going to be talking about the other huge cultural impact from that summer, the album Welcome to the Black Parade, the emo anthem for 2 or 3 generations now.
Paramore?
My Chemical Romance.
I could forget all these emo bands in there.
Yes, absolutely. So all of those coming out throughout the year on their anniversary day. We've got a pretty full February schedule, a pretty full July schedule, September particularly busy as well. And then we're going to end the year in December for the 25th anniversary of the Fellowship of the Ring.
That movie's that old?
25 years.
Wow.
Came out in 2001. So, all of that to say, our very first, we're going to now go ahead and jump into a 26 for 26. with the very first item that we are going to celebrate its milestone of, and it's the only book on my list. And that is going to be, well, actually, before I do the reveal, I'm going to do my my intro here because this is all getting cut in. So, welcome to 26 for 26, a series showcasing some of my favorite cultural touchstones that are celebrating an anniversary in 2026. I'm your host, Nick, and together we'll take a closer look at the movies, music, games, and some other assorted items, and why we should be celebrating their milestone. As a warning, this series may contain swear words, and our topic today does involve discussion of sensitive topics such as addiction, depression, and suicide. So please listen at your own discretion if you can handle those topics. Today's episode, Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace, released on February 1st, 1996. And now, Zach, I'm going to hand you a copy of Infinite Jest.
Oh my God.
And if you just go ahead and describe to our listeners the book that is in your hands here.
This is a very large book. The print is not very big either.
No, it's a regular.
It is a regular. So the book, I have a book similar in thickness, but it is the print
a graphic novel.
It's not a graphic novel,
Okay.
actually. It does have actual words, but the words are much bigger.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you want to go to that page with the thumbnail, or the little sticky note on there, what is that section there?
You got the notes in Areta.
Yep. And what page number is that on?
983.
Okay, fantastic. So that's the footnotes of the book that starts on page 983.
So 981 pages of good literature, and all of these are notes and footnotes, which is insane.
And then what page does the footnotes end on, Zach?
That is a good question. Let's see here. Did I find it?
There's a lot of stuff there. If they're still numbered, then you're still going.
Really?
Yeah.
Like all this is still footnotes?
Yeah.
No, I thought I saw a new title somewhere.
Nah.
Nope, that's just some more footnotes.
Yep.
You're kidding. You're actually kidding, right? No. Nope, that's some more footnotes.
Uh-huh.
Brother.
So where are we getting to at the end there?
Like everything page numbered is an actual footnote?
Yeah, dog.
Brother. We're looking at 1079 or 1079 for those who are number illiterate.
Sure. So this is one of my favorite books, and I have read it front to back.
Question, how many times? Just the once?
1.5. Yeah, it's a real endeavor to actually get through.
As I was flipping through these footnotes, I found it quite interesting. So I see some math stuff and some different diagrams, and there's a lot of different and all sorts of information through here.
Yes, it is an absolutely wildly dense, specific, and mathematical book. So this is Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. Now, Zach, let me ask you, did you have to read Hamlet in high school?
I don't think that was one I ever had to read. We've discussed it many a times throughout my schooling career, but it's one I don't think I've ever had to read. And of course, my favorite version is the Disney version, which happens to be Lion King, which I've seen many, many times.
Oh yeah,
throughout
classic.
my life.
Absolutely.
Not the original.
Okay, very well. That's all very good because I mean I definitely had to cover Hamlet at some point, but I don't remember like front to back what it is. But when we culturally refer to Hamlet or like make references and whatnot, what are the kind of the key takeaways of Hamlet that like every cartoon and like reference includes?
Depends. One is that it's cursed. It's the cursed play that everyone knows about. It's like the pop culture thing.
You might be thinking of Macbeth.
Oh, I might be thinking of Macbeth. You're right. I'm thinking of Macbeth. But Hamlet, if I remember, there's like the story of this hero that goes along. He has to fight through some family things. Usually his uncle wanting the power, if I remember correctly.
Yep. The uncle's a big thing. The thing, the couple of things I was trying to walk you into here was the.
I see them. I see the traps. I avoid
the to be or not to be speech. That's kind of that is your key Hamlet takeaway, and then Normally, the Shakespearean dress with someone holding a skull
Yep,
is
that
also like a Hamlet reference.
yes.
And I bring up Hamlet because that is where the name of the book comes from. When Hamlet is holding the skull, which is not the to be or not to be speech. That's a different scene entirely. But there's a scene where he's out and about with one of his buds. They're going through a graveyard for some reason. I think they're trying to get back into the castle, and they see that one of these graves is like being dug, and he picks up the skull and he says, "Alas, poor Yorick! I knew him well, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy." And so that's where the title of the book comes from.
Interesting.
Now, let me ask you this question, Zach. Have you ever had a show or series or movie, a thing that you watch, be so addictive that you had a hard time stopping watching
Absolutely. I think that's unfortunately where the term binge even comes from.
it? Sure, sure. And what's without having to get too personal and too deep dark secrets here? What would you say is like the longest binge you've ever had, like where you physically didn't do anything else but watch that show?
I think the last one I did was for Cobra Kai, which was COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just something I even had a tough time taking myself to bed. It was 12 o'clock is like, it's fine. I'm going to wake up at 6. I got time. 5 hours is enough.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Very good. Now that is right where we want to be for this discussion, because what if I were to ask you to imagine a movie that was so enthralling that you literally could not pull yourself away from it? It was a thing that if you started watching it, you would literally die watching it.
I don't know if I'd enjoy that as much.
Well, that is the premise of the book, Infinite Jest. Infinite Jest is the name of a movie in this fictional world that is so enthralling that if you put it on and your eyes begin to absorb it, you will no longer blink. You will no longer eat. You will no longer use the restroom until your body fails its capacities and you fall dead in front of the screen.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. And now, if you think about that this is the story here is that this is a home movie, a kind of amateur filmmaker puts this together with no intention of it being dangerous, but it does turn out to be this fatal movie that if you watch it, you will die watching it. And now, imagine, if you will, how dangerous that movie would be, and B, how on earth anyone would find out that's what it does.
Interesting.
Because anyone who watches it dies.
Yeah, I'm curious how you get that information out, unless the only way in my head that this would be practical, right, is if you're doing like a test screening or something like that, and be like, the people just will not leave, and I assume that there's someone immune to such power, maybe the director or the editor or whoever who knows a little bit more details about this movie, perhaps.
Yes, potentially. Well, so this is sort of the scenario that we throw ourselves into in the book Infinite Jest here. Now, before we get too deep into the plot here, we do have to go over the author, David Foster Wallace, because a large portion of this book, while the book is fictional and there is no such movie, the settings and events or the character situations are all very much based on David Foster Wallace's actual life and like his lived experiences. So we will discuss the man behind the very thick book here. And David Foster Wallace grew up as a child as a competitive junior tennis player, and was basically like on the junior circuit as like ranked international high level tennis player. He was raised in an atheist household by two professors And when he got to college, he studied English and philosophy, and specifically within philosophy, modal logic and mathematics.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with modal logic at all.
Depends what we mean. I've definitely dealt in modals before.
So in the philosophy sense, modal logic is sort of the if then sort of true statements in philosophical like worldview building. Essentially,
Yeah.
the notion of if you believe this thing, then these things follow.
Yeah. For sure.
So yeah, nice crunchy specialties here, and then you pair that with mathematics, and what a fun guy.
I mean, he's not far off. That's very close to what I did getting my math degree. There's a lot of if thens through to prove mathematics.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why there is, that kind of marriage between mathematic logic and philosophy logic, where there's an overlap in the Venn diagram. That's actually kind of fun to
Very,
get
very,
into.
very thick. Actually.
Yes. So that was his sort of bachelor level English and philosophy. His senior thesis won an award and was immediately published in philosophy journals. And he decided, based on that he was going to focus on becoming a writer. So he went to get an MFA in creative writing at Arizona, and then did a little bit of a trial of grad school at Harvard, but said, nah, never mind. So gets his MFA. That's good enough that he can go on to become an English and creative writing teacher at other colleges. And that's kind of what he starts doing in the early 90s. He starts working on the book Infinite Jest in 1991, submits the manuscript on the novel in 1993. They start doing like little preview publishing snippets of it in 95, and then the book is finally published on February 1st, 1996. After it was published, the very next year, David Foster Wallace was awarded a MacArthur Fellowship grant. Do you know about the MacArthur Fellowship?
I've heard of it before. Don't know what it means or what it does, but grant's always good. It means you get money somehow.
Yes. So the MacArthur Fellowship, or MacArthur Fellows, as they're sometimes referred to, is a private fellowship fund that is, they take no applications. They have their own private vetting systems and whatnot for who they're even interested in, and is basically a no strings attached cash money reward. Well, not even reward, but just grant, essentially stipend to awarded to people who they consider to be of significant achievement in fields of humanity, arts, sciences, etc., etc. A lot of like famous people have gotten these over the years, but it's sort of there's no way to apply for it or anything. You just do stuff, and when you get noticed, sometimes this body of people say, here is $500,000.
Yeah,
you've earned it.
Usually, with is it more of an award or a grant? Because usually the difference is if I'm awarded something, I'm being acknowledged for something, whereas a grant means I am getting this money to go forth and do something with it.
And they are very specific that it is a grant, and that they are not the money is not in acknowledgement of any past achievements, but is to celebrate, essentially say that we think you will put this to good use, essentially.
Yeah.
So always nice to get $500,000, and then it also turned out that Infinite Jest was one of the most popular books of the 90s. It goes on to be named to the Times top 100 books of the 21st century, and basically his magnum opus. He knocks it out of the park first try.
Does he write anything after this, or because I imagine he gets the grant or whatever, and probably if he finishes writing this behemoth monster, also $18 for this. Can't be that today. I almost for sure. This is a whole tree in my hand.
I definitely also did not pay that much because I bought it with my Borders discount.
But I imagine, he gets this grant. And does he write anything else after this, or do you just call it good?
I think. I mean, he continues to be a teacher. He does continue to write. The other novels are not as popular, as important. A large body of his work is short stories and essays. And then, like, if you go look at the David Foster Wallace section in the bookstore, several of the books will be just collections of essays.
Little cutie.
Yeah. But he is very well regarded critically, especially in this era in the 90s, because very much like the music and film and media of the time, books were also getting very deep into being ironic and detached and isn't it just easy to be cynical about everything, and it's much better to act like you're cooler than being like invested in things. And David Foster Wallace was sort of one of the only voices of the time who was saying that's not healthy and not a way that we should be at large like this, making our culture, essentially, is the sort of overall theme that you can kind of pull away from his books. But he is, as you can tell from the many topics of his study, a very intelligent man, has several mental health issues to deal with throughout his lifetime, and his style, if you know, I know reading's not your thing, but it is definitely a very unique way of writing that David Foster Wallace has, that is, again, very dense, but also comes from a place of like earnestness, and again, a thing that we talked about in other episodes of 321 Presents when we talk about storytelling, the notion that putting more of your personal lived experiences into your work makes it easier for other people to connect to it. And so there's a lot of that sort of personal experience and vulnerability in writing about one's personal experience that gets folded into that. Now, unfortunately, due to the mental health struggles, David Foster Wallace does take his own life in 2008. He does have one manuscript in the works at the time that does get published after his death, and is nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. I don't believe he did win that year, but so yeah, that is the full career of David Foster Wallace, a very brilliant man, a very troubled man, who had a very specific sort of way of looking at life, and tried to detail it through his writing. Now, when I say troubled, it is also important to note that several different women came forward after his death to put the record straight that he was an abusive and harassing partner at times. Like all people, he is flawed, but and it's very clear in reading the book too that this is written by a troubled mind, essentially, because as you can imagine, a thing this dense, that's a lot of thinking going on in that brain there.
Yeah, I mean, just hearing about him and sort of what I know about the book, I mean, that has to be a lot of thoughts. You don't get a book this thick, especially if you're not writing something like a Lord of the Rings, where it's a lot of language and world building without a lot of deep and intentional thought behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to hear the rest of the story of Infinite Jests, and this is where we're putting the trailer cut off, bam, right here, and then say, all right, if you want to hear the rest of the story, go ahead and catch the full episode of 26 for 26 when it debuts on February 1st. And then, got to kick back out to Zach. Wrap us up for 321 Presents after we've taken people on this fun little detour into my new side project.
Yes, thank you guys for coming along on this episode of 321 Presents. Of course, if you have not done so yet, please hit that follow button, like, subscribe, wherever you might be on the medias. And if you don't know our medias, of course, we're on the Spotify, the Apples of the podcast world. You can go check us out on YouTube or on the TikToks for some of the shorts. If you have not checked out our website, go do so. We are 321 Pods in a lot of places. If we're not there, go look at 321 Presents. We might be there as well. you want to go look at more of our projects, our website is the best place to go do that. And of course, stick around for our brand new show coming up, 26 for 26, where we step through all the great things that have been brought to us on this great round year of 26.
Hard to wrap it, but yeah. What's celebrating its anniversaries here in the year 2026?
Yep, and also a little bit of a step through Nick's life and all the important things that he's got to enjoy through his many, many years of life, because he's an old man now. Also, this is making me feel old as well, with a lot of these things turning 30, coming out around 96.
I mean, did you know that you're only 2 days older than Space Jam?
Did not.
You guys came out nearly right on top of each other.
Does make me feel old that Pokemon's not that much older than me.
Yeah.
Also makes Pokemon. But thank you guys for sticking around. Hope you enjoy our new show and stick around for that. We have plenty of stuff planned for this year, and who knows what might come of 321 Presents. Of course, I have been Zach, and along with me, I have been our new master of podcasts, Nick, and we will see you guys next week.
Adios.